Hi, I'm Asher and my group consists of
Hello, I'm CAREY.
Hey, I'm BATRISYIA.
Hello, I'm Jiaen.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Today, we'll be presenting on our D&I project. We'll first be talking about part 1, D&I at the workplace, learning from champions. The company that we're presenting on is PVH, one of the world's largest and most admired fashion company.
So, why did we choose PVH? Well, as we were researching on PVH, we were surprised to find out that they have started making commitments all the way back in 2014, several years before the Black Lives Matter movement.
You're right, CAREY. They even stated on their website that every individual is valued, every voice is heard. However, as good as this may sound, are they truly consistent with their statements and commitments? This is why we decided to dive in deeper to research their claims.
One strategy that PVH has done to improve their inclusion and diversity is by expanding their partnership with Fashion for All Foundation. This is to announce a new financial commitment which creates awareness and diversity, equity, and inclusion for all in the fashion industry.
With PVH's support, FFA will deliver year-round student programming, which includes mock interviews, resume writing clinics, networking workshops, and opportunities to meet professionals in the industry. This program aims to eliminate the barriers to entry by assisting these students to enter the fashion industry through internships, jobs, education, and mentorship.
To kick off the program, PVH hosted a virtual open house back in 4th of November 2021 for FFA students, alumni, and friends to learn more about PVH, their inclusive and diversity team, as well as network with representatives from the business resource groups.
Besides implementing a strategy, PVH has acted on a few initiatives. The first initiative that we will be talking about is how PVH is a proud funding partner of the Social Justice Center at FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology.
On the 8th of December 2021, PVH joined the FIT as a founding partner of SJC. The SJC is a first-of-a-kind higher education initiative that has been established to increase opportunity and accelerate social equity within the fashion and creative industries for the Black, Indigenous, and people of color community, also known for short as BIPOC.
This initiative aims to nurture a racially and ethnically diverse talent pipeline that is focused on breaking down systematic barriers and ensuring that the BIPOC professionals can achieve their fullest potential. This initiative is supported by 4 pillars.
Firstly, access to talent, creativity, and expertise of the FIT faculty and students as resources.
Secondly, collaboration among leading corporate and non-profit CEOs that promotes the talent potential of aspiring BIPOC youths and advancement of BIPOC professionals.
Thirdly, a sustained commitment of funding support of scholarships and programs.
Lastly, ongoing accountability that will identify and measure the advancement of BIPOC professionals.
Concurrently, the SJC partners are working closely with FIT to change the corporate culture and diversify its framework from the ground up. To support this, an industry advisory council of 16 executives has been established to counsel, collaborate, and help measure progress in achieving equity within the creative industry.
The second initiative that PVH has acted on is addressing racism through the Be Brave initiative.
For this initiative, PVH Cooperation, Calvin Klein, and Tommy Hilfiger have come together to sign the Black in Fashion Council Pledge as part of the initiative to support the advancement of the Black community in the company's ongoing efforts to achieve equality and racial justice.
This initiative complements PVH's long-term inclusion and diversity strategy by focusing on 3-pronged commitments: listening, learning, and action. Firstly, we have the first commitment, which is listening. Through this, we have to check in with the friends and colleagues, especially those in the Black community. By doing this, we can amplify Black voices in the company and in the company at large.
Secondly, we have the learning commitment. On PVH learning platform PVHU, They offer an online version of its course Confronting Bias, which teaches us how to thrive across our differences while focusing on how to counter bias in words and actions.
Lastly, we have the action commitments by making donations. The PVH Foundation launched its first ever global campaign to support non-profit organizations. Associates can choose an organization with missions that are important and meaningful to them, and PVH will match their donations 100% through the month of June.
From this strategy and initiatives, we notice that a lot of them are targeting the Black community. Naturally, we ask ourselves, why does PVH prioritize the Black community? Which is why we decided to dive in deeper in order to find out the reason.
As we all know, the increase of awareness about the Black community struggles came from the Black Lives Matter movement that had happened in 2020. Therefore, with the assumption that the reason why PVH has decided to prioritize the Black community is due to the BLM movement, we researched and found out that most of the initiatives and strategies were indeed started after the movement.
However, while researching, we came across a report done by PVH and the Council of Fashion Designers of America, CFDA, on the state of diversity, equality, and inclusion in fashion. This report has the objective of gaining a better understanding of how the fashion industry can be more diverse, equitable, and inclusive, particularly through the lens of a racial equity as it relates to talent acquisition and retention.
From this report, we can see that PVH, unlike other companies, continues to research the hardships of the BIPOC even after the BLM movement has died down. This is why, in order to further expand their inclusion and diversity, they decided to make changes in the fields that they noticed were the root of the Black community's problems.
The first issue is on awareness and access. From the report, PVH noticed the lack of opportunities for low-income communities, communities of colors, and pre-college pipelines to enter the fashion industry.
According to the report, 80% of the designers came from fashion schools, which makes fashion schools a critical role in entering the industry. However, based on statistics, less than 10% of these 2020 undergraduates are Black. Furthermore, from the point of view of a Black student, it is hard for them to even know of such industries when they are not given access to fashion programs or opportunities around them.
As this is the base level to entering the fashion industry, it is crucial to make a change as this will allow for a long-term beneficial change to the fashion industry inclusivity and diversity-wise.
The next hurdle is hiring. There is a perception of unfairness in hiring, primarily due to unconscious bias and the reliance on referrals. Some of these biases include an individual's socio-economic status and race, as well as being intertwined with ideas about taste or looking like a brand's girl.
In addition, almost half of the respondents report receiving a referral for their job, which disproportionately benefits white employees compared to Black employees, where less than a quarter receive referrals.
The second issue is the belonging of BIPOCs in companies. According to the report, almost a quarter of respondents observe biased behavior, with race or ethnicity and physical appearance being the most common biases.
Furthermore, 2 in 3 Black employees reported frequently being the minority in a room, which resulted in increased pressure to perform. In addition, 2 in 3 Black employees experience microaggression, with one of the key issues being that their competence is doubted. The other subtle microaggression includes wanting to touch their hair.
These incidents will lead to the consequence of future Black talents not wanting to enter the industry. Entering the creative industry is where individualism is being celebrated. However, this element of being yourself doesn't necessarily apply to the BIPOC community.
Lastly, another area that PVH is concerned about is promotion and advocacy. This is important as promotions are crucial for individuals who want to stay in the industry for a long while, tackling other responsibilities such as providing for their family.
Based on the report, the likelihood of a white employee getting a promotion is more than people of color. This is because there's a lack of mentorship and seniors to guide and advocate for them.
Due to this, the BIPOC community finds it hard to promote themselves to a better position and usually ends up being at the lower end of the company, despite having the potential to do better for the company.
Next, we'll be talking about part 2, D&I at the workplace. First step, the element of diversity that we have chosen is age discrimination.
As we all know, age discrimination in the workforce applies to both young and mature workers. There are three main types of discrimination issues that can arise: direct discrimination, indirect discrimination, and harassment.
Firstly, direct discrimination is where a decision is made because of a person's age, a person's perceived age, or the age of someone a person is associated with.
Secondly, indirect discrimination is where an employer applies a practice or criteria which applies equally to all ages but may result in a disadvantage to people of a certain age or age group.
Lastly, harassment is where there is unwanted conduct related to age that has the purpose or effect of violating someone's dignity or creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment for the person.
Age discrimination is a serious issue as it will impact the victim's career development and employability negatively, whether done intentionally or not.
Age discrimination issues arise everywhere, but what about in Singapore? Let's take a closer look. According to a local report on ageism in the workforce but in Singapore by Randstad, there may be some points that we need to be worried about.
The report states that 31% of young respondents choose to avoid interactions with mature workers, and 1,052 respondents think that career stagnation is at the age of 48 years old. Furthermore, they believe that there are lesser opportunities as they age older.
The younger generation has it tough as well. 20% of the respondents aged 18 to 35 felt or were told that they had been denied a leadership position at work due to their young age.
Moreover, the phrase "OK Boomer" not only highlights the widening generation gap, but also displays unwillingness to understand different viewpoints of others. This vision caused by stubbornness will create a poor and uncooperative workplace.
Now that we know how ageism impacts the workforce in Singapore, why are we focusing on the elderly instead of the younger workers, although both are affected?
Well, Patricia, this is because Singapore is one of the most rapidly aging population in the world, which can translate into an increasing aging workforce.
You're right, this demographic shift will put immense pressure on the Singaporean society, as a shrinking workforce would struggle to support an aging population.
Furthermore, an aging population has its own unique set of challenges, from reduced economic growth to increased healthcare and social service costs.
In addition, there is a thin line between healthy aging and elderly poverty. Since elderly citizens have limited education in the workforce, they are often forced to conduct hard manual labor, which may or may not pay them well.
This is devastating as their pay may not be enough to support their daily lives. Because of this issue, there have been several concerns being rightfully raised about whether the seniors in Singapore are receiving the support that they require.
From all of these issues, this is why keeping older workers in the economy is a must. Not only does it lower the likelihood of depression and elderly suicide, it provides them with financial independence and a sense of purpose.
Furthermore, by contributing to the workforce, they are more integrated, maintain stronger social bonds, and are generally happier than their non-working counterparts.
And for our scenario, we have decided to look into Company X, which is House of Matcha. It is a local F&B company that started out in 2015.
As we all know, F&B companies are getting more and more competitive as we speak. Companies are coming out with more interesting concepts that will engage their customers. For House of Matcha, they have only been hiring young and capable workers for their part-time and full-time roles. Anyone with a mature appearance will be discreetly rejected regardless of their experience or achievements.
Since House of Matcha prefers hiring younger people, they are showing age discrimination towards the elderly.
This is because the younger generation usually has negative stereotypes against the elderly, especially when it comes to working in the front line.
Some of the stereotypes include lack of productiveness and forgetfulness. This is a huge issue as stereotypes are hard to change.
Furthermore, a meta-analysis report done by Horton and colleagues reported that negative stereotypes exert an effect 3 times greater than positive age stereotypes.
That's right. The company isn't showing enough age inclusiveness and diversity, which causes the different generation to have tension between each other, which might result in them being uncooperative, which will have a negative impact on the company.
Moving on to our strategy, our overall aim is to increase hiring rates of older workers and eliminate age discrimination within the company as much as possible.
In order to achieve our aims, we have decided to take action on 2 initiatives: implementing coaching by teaching recruiters and reverse mentoring.
Firstly, we choose to implement coaching and teaching recruiters to guide and help the mature workers. We believe that coaching provides proper guidance and it will be better for them to have someone by their side to communicate and guide them along.
Some examples of such classes are attitude communication and technology classes. As we mentioned before, the main selling point for business now is their service. People are attracted to places with good services to enjoy their meals.
With the attitude and communication class, workers will be able to enhance their communication skills with active listening and interpretation of non-verbal and body language messages.
With that, they will also be able to condition themselves to serve customers with the right approach. With all the new skills that will be learned, it will definitely build up the worker's character and bring a good image to the company.
This class will be made compulsory and will be paid for by the company. Next up, we have technology classes. Such classes are good for older generation as we often hear that technology advancement is so fast that elderly people can't catch up.
Understanding that the lack of knowledge for technology could be the cause of many elderlies having lesser confidence, companies can offer them classes for them to continue learning and to strive to do better.
Of course, this class will remain optional with a 70% subsidized fee for them. For these classes, after work hours will be needed. There will be a place to conduct such training for the workers.
Moving on, what is reverse mentoring? I'm sure we're all familiar with the concept of mentoring, where typically a senior employee is tasked with guiding a junior colleague. But what if there was such thing as the other way around?
As the workforce is increasing at an increasingly fast pace, more and more young generations are joining the workforce. Furthermore, these generations are characterized as flexible, adaptable, and tech-savvy.
Yes, this is why pairing aged workers with younger mentors can prove to have several benefits. Some of those include imparting critical perspective on strategic thinking, leadership, mindset, and values in a workplace.
In addition, having this interaction between both generations allows the elderly to gain an insight into the mind of the younger generation, allowing them to better understand their values, priorities, and motivations, how they wish to be treated, and how to optimize their talents to enhance engagement and retention.
This is a huge step for both generations to confront ageism in the workplace. So, how will House of Matcha implement reverse mentoring?
How it works is that older employees will approach the younger generation to find out more about their jobs, which will create a sense of trust between them.
At the same time, the younger employee will help build the skills of senior workers in the company. In this way, each participant plays an active role in mentoring.
For example, in terms of frontline jobs, House of Matcha will have one-to-one reverse mentoring with managers or full-time workers to guide them along with how to serve customers. As they work there long enough, they will have able to pick up the pace and work faster to serve even better during peak hours.
This will also help mature workers to gain more confidence, which will help boost healthy aging.
Next up is our diversity metric. Our goal is to achieve an increase in the hiring rate of the elderly for frontline jobs by 10% by the year 2030 and 15% by 2035. To do so, we will slowly increase 0.7 to 1.9% every year gradually and hit our target by the respective years.
To boost up the hiring rates a little, we decided that from year 2030 onwards, working hours will be lowered to 2 hours lesser to accommodate for more elderly getting hired. For those who want to work more, can apply for 2 consecutive shifts.
For simpler understanding, this is to create a more flexible schedule for the elderly workers to work in.
We have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you!